Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I won't greet you good night because we are just about to start a workshop on preparing course guide for facilitators and tutors of Distance Learning Center, University of Ibadan. It's an exciting day and I hope you are all feeling wonderful. I'm sure we are going to have an exciting time together today. My name is Egbokhare. I'm going to be your facilitator. I don't assume that I have all the answers or the questions. So we are going to have a very interactive and conversational time together. So let's get going with this workshop. Now, to proceed, we are going to look at what a course guide is. Because if we have to do a course guide, we also have to do a guide for this, the content guide for this workshop. So we are going to look at what is a course guide, the purpose of a course guide, value of a course guide, components of a course guide, the structure of a course guide, and then, of course, we'll discuss some definitional issues. And then, of course, other discussions or questions that will follow after this presentation. Now, so let's begin to ask ourselves, what's a course guide? A course guide serves as a comprehensive roadmap for students. We need roadmaps anywhere to navigate from one point to the other. You realize that basically distance learning is a journey of discovery. And the course guide provides essential information to navigate the course successfully. So when you look at the course as a journey from one place to the other, the course guide serves as essential information to navigate the course successfully. It's a well-structured course guide that empowers students to take ownership of their learning, stay organized, and achieve academic success. So we need to pay attention to the fact that academic success is the end of this journey that we are trying to navigate using a course guide. So what's the purpose? The purpose and value of a course guide for students include orienting students to the course structure and expectations. Expectations are very important when it comes to learning. We outline learning objectives, outcomes, and assessment criteria. Then provide a study plan and timeline. Of course, very critical in the case where people are self-organizing. Learners have to take control of their learning situations. Then, of course, it also involves the identifying required resources and materials. And then we facilitate communication between students and instructors. I hope you can remember these 5 critical reasons why a course guide is indispensable in a distance learning situation. So, but what is the value? We've just looked at the purpose. What's the value of the course guide? One is that it clarifies course expectations and requirements. It helps students set goals and prioritize tasks. And you need to pay attention to this. Helps students to set goals and to prioritize their tasks. It enhances organization and time management skills, and then reduces anxiety and uncertainty. It encourages self-directed learning and autonomy, fosters effective communication with instructors, supports academic success and achievement, which is very important for the distance learner, provides a reference point for course policies and procedures, and they help students stay on track with coursework. It enhances overall learning experience. That's the point. With a course guide, there's nothing that is left but for the students to take charge and control of the learning situation. So let's look at the specific benefits. We've looked at the purpose, we've looked at the values, then let's look at specific benefits to the learners. One is that it improved understanding of course content and structure. The second is that for better preparation for assessments and evaluations. So you don't just jump at students, jump at learners with assessments and evaluation. They are already prepared, they already know what is expected. Third, it increases confidence and motivation, because once that is done, students come into the assessment situation with a lot of confidence and motivation. Fourth, it enhances critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Fifth, provides effective navigation of course materials and resources. And the sixth, it reduces stress and improved work-life balance. This is very critical because a number of the students or learners who are involved in distance learning are involved in managing their time with work and life. Seventh, it improves retention and completion rates. Eighth, it enhances student-instructor relationships. So you build a confident relationship between the instructor and the students. in this case between facilitators and e-tutors. It increases accessibility for diverse learners. And then 10th, it supports development of essential skills for lifelong learning. Can we just, by way of trying to remember these, see if we can recall about 3 of these specific benefits in order for us to move to the next item we are going to be discussing. Now, the course guides are not only for the distance learning situation. In the face-to-face learning situation, we also use the course guides. But what are the principles of course guide for ODeL specifically? Preparation of course guides for open distance learning follows the following key principles. 1, clear objectives. You must set clear objectives. You must specify measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound learning objectives. So the acronym SMART is often used to represent these the principles of setting clear objectives. Second, which is very critical, is it is learner-centered. It focuses on learners' needs, their prior knowledge and experience. Third is that it promotes flexibility. So you accommodate diverse learning styles. You know, learners come into the learning situation with diverse learning styles, diverse learning paces, and of course, the environments are also very different. So the course guide must have elements of flexibility so that we can accommodate diversity that we find in the learning situation. The fourth is that it's self-directed learning. It promotes self-directed learning. It encourages autonomy in learning, self-motivation, and responsibility. So the individuals who are in the learning situation must take charge of their learning. They must help them to take charge of their learning situation. And then the fifth, it provides a structured learning path. The contents are organized into logical, manageable units through the course structure. And then the sixth is the alignment. It ensures consistency between objectives, content, assessment, and activities. So you don't have one set of objectives and then you have a different set of assessment which have nothing to do with the objectives. So what I was saying basically is that we minimize the tendency for spontaneity and disorder in the learning situation so that everything is organized and the expectations are clear from the beginning, both for the facilitators, the e-tutors, and the learners, and the policy individuals and the administrators. So everybody is now put within the same page so that we know exactly what the expectations are, what the goals are, and where we are heading to. That was why I said we are in a journey together. With the course guide, we all engage in a journey together, and the journey is very predictable. So that's the whole idea, is to make the learning situation very predictable, align the expectations, and ensure that there is fairness and objectivity in what is done. Now, the seventh is that accessibility is promoted. It ensures equal access for diverse learners, including those with disabilities. In preparing your course guide, you will ensure that learners with disabilities are also taken care of. And then we talked about people with different learning styles, but also people who have different kinds of disabilities. Eighth is that interactivity, because it incorporates engaging activities, discussions, and feedback mechanisms. And then, of course, which is very critical in a distance learning situation, is support services. It provides information on available resources such as tutoring, technical support, and counseling. And then 10th is the continuous evaluation component. It regularly review and update course guides to ensure relevance and effectiveness. In other words, you mean that you can ensure that you are always having a better way to improve the course guide in order to ensure that it is relevant, and then it's being adjusted for the realities in the classroom, in the learning situation. Then, of course, 11th is consistency, with the use of standardized formatting, standardized terminology, and design. And then, of course, transparency. It clearly outlines expectations, requirements, and evaluation criteria. There's no room for ambushing of learners. And then, of course, there is no room for students to say, oh, we were not informed. And that's why transparency is critical in the preparation of course guides. So we are still looking at the ODeL specific considerations. You see, by incorporating the principles, ODeL-based principles, course guides for ODeL programs can effectively support learners' success. So I want us to pay attention to the fact that the whole idea is not just to have a sophisticated course guide, it's for us to be able to support learner success, because that's the whole idea. We want to ensure that the throughput is encouraging. We want to ensure that the attrition rate is minimized. We want to ensure that the success rate is great and students feel confident about what the program they have passed through. So what do we do? So study guides provide detailed study schedules and materials. Detailed study schedules and materials. It incorporates communication strategies, outline channels for learners, instructor, and learner-learner interaction. So not just the instructor, but also learner-learner interaction. The third is that it also provides technology integration. It specifies required technologies and provides technical support information. And the fourth is that it provides the assessment strategies, ensure validity, reliability, and fairness in assessment methods. And then, of course, we mentioned earlier that learner support is critical. The course guide must offer guidance on time management, goal setting, and self-assessment. And then the sixth is the issue of cultural sensitivity, which is often overlooked because of our peculiar colonial situation. The idea of cultural sensitivity is very critical. So you have to consider diverse cultural contexts and adapt course materials accordingly. And then the seventh is that the idea of quality assurance is central to the course guide. The course guide must ensure that it meets institutional and industry standards for it to be considered useful. So now let's look at the sample format of a course guide, because in this workshop we are going to try to provide course guides for the different courses that we facilitate. And so it's good for us to look at what the formats will look like. Now, for instance, you start with a course title. Then you have your course code. Then you have to insert the duration of the course, and then the number of credit hours. For instance, I teach Lean 241, which lasts for a semester. The description is the production of speech. The course title is Lean 241. The course code, the course title is the course description is provided as the production of speech. The title is LIN. The code is 241. The duration is for the semester. That's which is in our own case is 12 weeks of teaching and 3 weeks for examination. It's a 3 hours credit, 3 units. So which means we have to handle it for 3 hours in a week. Now the course objectives also must be stated. We have to list the main objectives, and it has to be put in some bullet form according to the patterns and standards of writing course objectives. The issue of objectives will be handled later on in the way you write objectives. We are not going to deal with that here. Then, of course, you will put a detailed outline, course outline, in modules or in lessons or in topics as the format of the distance learning center will permit you. And then you will do them, in this case, in the format, we have module 1, module 2, module 3, as many as the number of modules that will be required for this learning situation. Then, of course, the learning materials. What books are required? What are the recommended readings, and then what are the online resources? Then, of course, you have to give a detail of the assessment, the assignments, their weighting, and their due date. And then, of course, if you have more than one assignment, you have the assignment 1, assignment 2, and so on. You put their description, their weighting, and their due date. Then the final exam will also have a description, their weighting, and their due date. You can see everything so explicitly stated so that from the very beginning, a learner will be able to determine exactly what he or she is expecting in the learning situation. Now, the learning activities are also inserted, are also there, specified, clarified, and unambiguously stated. The discussion forums, the video lessons, the quizzes are all stated for the learner to be able to engage with them. Then the technical requirements, computer specifications. You don't want to give an assignment that requires a high-end computer, for a learner, and then he or she discovers that he or she needs a software that he or she cannot access. Then, of course, you have to specify the software requirements where these are needed. The internet connectivity standards that will support the kind of course that you are delivering. The support services are very critical. The instructor contact information, the technical support contact, academic resources are also. So the point basically about this is that at any point in time when the learner has some problem, there should be somebody who is ready and able and available at the time that is specified to provide that support. Evaluation criteria, the participation rate that is expected. Let me give you an example. In the face-to-face in UI, you are expected to attend a class for at least 70% of the semester. Otherwise, you will not be allowed to sit for the exam. That's for the face-to-face. The assignment quality is also specified. Exam performance rate is also specified. And then, of course, there is the academic policies. We don't ambush students without letting them know, for instance, what plagiarism is. They have to know. It's not on the date of the exam that a learner will come to know what the academic policies are. It is well specified in the course guide. For instance, late submission. What is the implication of late submission? When is late submission? What are the grading scales? These are all critical in this format. I think at this point in time, I want to pause and give you an opportunity to discuss some of the things that I have presented here so that we can have a very beautiful conversation about it. Because I do also recognize that many of us here are coming from the face-to-face mode as well as the distance learning mode, and there's sometimes the possibility that there will be confusion about the two systems. So let's have some good conversation about the two systems. And then if there are those who have never produced their course guides, this is not unusual. So this is the opportunity for you now to take the skills that you have learned from this situation, from this workshop, and then apply to the face-to-face situation where you find yourself. Course guides are indispensable for learning and for directing and for navigating effective ODeL programs in any learning situation. Thank you very much.